So I mentioned in a previous video about how I wanted to talk more about how do you listen to that inner voice? What does that look like? And truthfully, it's something that you just have to practice on your own. But I'm going to try to give you some simple, easy tips on how to listen to that inner voice and why you should listen to that inner voice. So first I'm going to give a story example. I had a client who was laboring beautifully. She was so strong and doing so well. She was managing contractions perfectly. Baby's heart rate was great the whole time. Her blood pressure, everything was great the whole time. Everything was going fantastic. And the only thing negative, which for first time mom is very common, is it was taking a long time. She had been in labor for about 20 hours and she had had prodromal labor before that, which was really hard on her, and just she felt like she went into the labor exhausted. And so her midwife came to her and said, "Hey, you and baby are doing fantastic. We've had no negative signs of anything. So I just want to present you with your options. We can continue doing this as long as you and baby are doing great. We can keep going like this as long as you want to, because you're doing fine. You're doing amazing, in fact. Or we can give you some over-the-counter medication like Benadryl to help you get some rest, hopefully, and then kind of slow your labor down a tiny bit and then come back at it. Or we can transfer you to the hospital and you can have an epidural." She said all of these are great options with a lot of pros and some cons. So I want to hear what you think. Talk to your doula, talk to your husband, and I'll come back in a few minutes. So she gave them privacy. I offered them privacy, but they said they wanted me to be a part of the conversation. So we engaged and we went over all of her pros and cons with those three options. And she said, I just feel like I need to go to the hospital. And so we were like, okay, let's get the ball rolling. So I said, because I know this birth center, they're going to give you the option between two hospitals. And technically, give you the option is even the wrong way to say that. They prefer to send you to these two hospitals. You can go anywhere you want to go. The option A, super, super amazing, naturally friendly hospital. I myself have witnessed babies being born on the bathroom floor at this hospital. Amazing. So that option, super great. Downside is it doesn't have a NICU, but her baby's been fine this whole time. No reason to think the baby would need a NICU. So really good option. Option A was also 45 minutes away. Option B, super close, like 3 to 5 minutes away, and they do have a NICU. They are a great, naturally friendly hospital. Their C-section rate is a little bit higher, but to be honest, they also see a lot of high-risk moms at that hospital because they have that NICU, and they have a great children's hospital connected to it. So it's just kind of one of those things where it attracts more high risk than the option A. So we went over pros and cons of both ones, and she said, I really feel like I need to go with option B because I just feel like I need to be there soon. And so we're like, okay, sounds good. And so we started gathering things up. The midwife expressed to me, she's like, I really wish they would go with option A. It's so naturally friendly and their C-section rate is so low. I'm afraid if she goes to this other hospital that she might have a C-section. And I'm like, I feel you, but she feels safer going to that hospital, so I feel safer being there with her. So we went to that hospital. Everything was fine, everything normal, got to the hospital. She sat down on the bed and they put the monitors on her belly. Baby's heart rate was all the way through the bottom, like just completely way, way too low and was not coming up very quickly. We were rotating her. We were giving her, fluids through her IV. We were giving her oxygen. Nothing raised this baby's heart rate. She had a C-section with probably within, half an hour, 45 minutes of getting there. Super crazy. And I realized watching that happen that all the signs, all the evidence said everything was perfectly okay. What was different? Mom listened to her instincts. Because if she hadn't listened to her instincts, she would have been having crazy heart tones in the car on her way to option A. But she chose option B because that's where she felt like she needed to be. So ultimately, the reason it's so important to listen to your intuition is because it's going to tell you things that nobody else can tell you. There was no reason to think anything was wrong. And nothing really was wrong until she got there. Nothing the hospital did made it wrong. But she listened to that inner voice. Now, understanding how to listen to the inner voice, like I said, is going to be different for every person. But one of the ways you can know for sure that you're hearing your inner voice is if the option that's being presented to you, let's say you're being presented an option with no cons at all. It's just only benefits, and there's a great option. Everybody around you believes that that's what you need to do, but you just feel this like weight in your chest and you can't quite make the decision to do that. When you feel that pull away feeling that I just don't know why, but it doesn't feel right, that's your inner voice. It's almost easier when the choice doesn't make any sense, because you know for sure it's not your brain telling you to do it. It's your heart. It's your guts. Okay? Also, a lot of times a really easy way to tell is if the decision really pulls away from what you know to be true within your soul. You know, like I knew that I wanted to have natural birth. That was just something I wanted. Not necessarily because, you know, like I don't have anything against people who get epidurals. I didn't want one. And so if I had been in labor and my gut had told me to get an epidural, I know that's not what I want. That gut instinct is pulling me away from what I want. And there's very few things that pull you away from what you want because we want it. Why would we be pulling ourselves away? So that's another way you can know that you're listening to your inner voice, is when it pulls away from what you want. Other than that, it's going to take a lot of faith and a lot of trust. And I don't know what your beliefs are, but I can tell you as a follower of Jesus that he helps guide my inner voice. And I think that he instills every single mother and father with that gut instinct. But I think that when you have Jesus on top of it, it makes it that much stronger. So hold on to that anchor, trust your instincts, trust your body, and you got this.